December 2025 Astrology. Key dates, transits, lunations and more. We move into the last month of the year on a Monday, the day of the moon. And with this new month, the moon begins in the fiery sign of Aries. Most of the planets are residing in either fire or water, with the exceptions of Uranus in Taurus and Pluto in Aquarius. This can make us feel a bit emotional or overwhelmed, especially if we are hyper-focused on current events or worried about our futures. But December gently helps us to change course. There are opportunities for inspiration and the ability to check facts. Committing to loved ones and your heart's desires takes center stage. A new moon near the winter solstice can be a pivot point to make resolutions that truly resonate. By the end of the month, we will feel more socially connected, and the new year starts off with a mixture of drive and determination, filled with love and good spirits. Now that we have a high-level overview, let's look at the key dates. Full moon in Gemini on December 4th, 2025. Neptune stations direct in Pisces on December 10th, 2025. Mercury ingresses into Sagittarius on December 11th, 2025. Mars ingresses into Capricorn on December 15th, 2025. New moon in Sagittarius on December 19th, 2025. Sunday ingresses into Capricorn on December 21st, 2025. Venus ingresses into Capricorn on December 24th, 2025. Here is your week-to-week guide, as I outline the overarching energy for the month. This is a blend of personal and mundane astrology, and goes over the atmosphere of the day-to-day. It is not a predictive tool, and your own chart may play out differently since I am only discussing the transits. Monday, December 1st through Sunday, December 7th. On the first day of the month, we have 3 planets in the sign of Sagittarius. Venus entered Sagittarius the day before, on November 30th, and is applying a conjunction to the Sun. This is warm and friendly energy, where we may crave being around the people we love, especially while doing something fun or adventurous. Since the month starts on a Monday, you may want to head to a local skating rink after work with your friends or try some indoor rock climbing, since Mars is also in the adventurous, fun-loving sign of Sagittarius. However, Venus is trine to Saturn and Mars is square to Saturn in Pisces. This means we may feel like doing something spontaneous and exciting but could wind up playing it a little safer, choosing a movie or dinner instead of something that takes us too far out of our routine. With Venus in opposition to Uranus in Taurus, we may be somewhat flirty, and if you are single, this is a great time to go to happy hour and be charming if you are interested in romance or dating. Mercury in Scorpio starts its opposition to Uranus in Taurus on the 1st. When Mercury is in opposition to Uranus, we can feel anxious and scattered. We tend to speak quickly, and our patience is thin. We could feel like we are expending lots of energy but have a difficult time completing tasks. Does this sound like attention deficit disorder? Yes, this is one of the many astrological indicators, but understand that the polarity here is fixed. The fixed energy of Scorpio and Taurus gives you some determination to complete what you have started, even if there is frustration due to difficulty focusing. The opposition between Mercury and Uranus is exact on the 10th. On Thursday evening, we will have the Gemini full moon, which is in perigee as it fills the night sky, appearing large and bright. This full moon is a mutable midpoint of the Virgo-Pisces eclipses, which we will revisit in March. This full moon is about how we communicate, especially in relationships. Are we asking the right questions? Are we listening? Or are we thinking about the next thing we want to say? Are we looking for what we have in common? Or are we simply expressing our beliefs? Gemini is the sign of collecting data, but it is not a sign of discernment. It is a social butterfly that likes to show off its wit. It can be the class clown. However, it is engaging, and it is the spark that gets communication going. The full moon is about what we reap from the past, positive or negative. It is not a time for starting something new. Since the Sun is conjunct both Mars and Venus on this day, you may take stock of your personal relationships and consider whether you have been putting in the effort to do activities with those who bring out your inquisitive nature. This is a great time to invite people to parties, local events, holiday gatherings, comedy clubs, girls' night out, museums, volunteer activities, sporting events, or social get-togethers. Enjoy the benefits of the full moon over the weekend. This is also a great week for thinking about and continuing to implement long-term plans, especially those made 3 months ago. With Mercury in Scorpio making a grand trine with Jupiter in Cancer and Saturn in Pisces, you have the optimism to take on work that requires focus, determination, and vision. Astrology chart for the full moon in Gemini. On December 4th, 2025 at 13 degrees Gemini. Generated with Luna Astrology software. The moon at 13 degrees Gemini is opposite the sun at 13 degrees Sagittarius. Full moon in Gemini on December 4, 2025 at 5:14 p.m. Central Standard Time in Dallas, Texas, USA. Monday, December 8 through Sunday, December 14 on the 10th, we have the Mercury-Uranus opposition that I mentioned earlier. Let's face it, this is not the most disciplined of aspects, but it is one that can lead to impactful aha moments. Though many will be scurrying around, trying to get things done, if you take a moment to meditate on this day, you may gain insight that could be overlooked in the chaos. But the big change on this day is Neptune stationing direct in the sign of Pisces. Whatever has been exposed while Neptune was retrograde will now face attempts to be covered up or dispersed in an effort to water it down. And yes, in the States this could be linked to the Epstein files, but it goes further than that. Expect spins on everything from the economy to who is responsible for current events. The good news is that Saturn is conjunct Neptune, which puts Neptune in check. The energy is there to see through lies and deception. It is up to each individual to do their own due diligence when it comes to the dynamics of each situation. With the Sun conjunct Mars in Sagittarius, there is a burst of energy to get things done. However, since Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, you could take on more than you can actually accomplish. Mars energy can add a sense of agitation, and it may be best to work alone, especially with the square to Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. Part of the tension has to do with fears about whether or not you can accomplish everything you have set out to do. You also may find yourself looking for a scapegoat, someone you feel is blocking your efforts. The best way to handle the energy this week is to make a list and reprioritize it day by day. If you feel doubt, ask for help or remember your past accomplishments. You also could remove your things you would like to do, and focus solely on the things you need to do. Mercury re-enters Sagittarius on the 11th, and it is sextile Pluto in Aquarius, giving Mercury a supportive boost of power. Solving difficult situations may be easier, as long as you put serious thought into what you are doing. I do expect to see many online sleuths during this time, especially if certain files are released. Most of the information will be redacted, which will only add to the intrigue. Monday, December 15th through Sunday, December 21st, we start the week off with Mars entering the sign of Capricorn in the early hours of the day. Mars is exalted in Capricorn, and there is nothing that the little goat likes more than a mountain to climb. Mars is in a separating square to Neptune, and by Sunday, self-doubt and hesitation will go by the wayside. In a couple of weeks, Mars will be in a sweet spot. So for now, keep your head down and tackle projects. Starting on the 16th, Mercury will square the Pisces North Node. Thoughts and communication may focus on what is believed to be for the greater good of everyone. Compassion could come to the forefront, but with Neptune now direct in Pisces, people who have a specific agenda may downplay the needs of the collective. This energy lasts through the 23rd of the month. On the 19th, we have the new moon in Sagittarius. It is the last new moon of the year. Astrologically, this is an excellent moon for manifestation. Mercury is out of its shadow. The new moon is conjunct Mars in Capricorn, which is Mars' exaltation, and conjunct Venus in Sagittarius. The moon and Jupiter are in a mutual reception, and Jupiter is the dispositor of Venus and the Sun. Since Jupiter is in its exaltation and in retrograde, this combination of planets can help you take advantage of missed opportunities and expand upon them. Maybe you were too busy this summer to take on another project or go on that blind date your friend suggested. Now is the time to manifest those opportunities back into your life. And with Mars in Capricorn, you will have the drive to make the most of the situation and capitalize on an income stream or be open to meeting someone new. With the new moon square Neptune and Saturn, the key is not to let negative emotions or programming from childhood stand in your way. Lean into optimism and enthusiasm, and go for the things that are important to you, not what society or someone else has prescribed as best. Jupiter is trine Saturn in Pisces, and since Pisces is ruled by Jupiter, or Neptune in modern astrology, there is potential for real growth as long as what you put out there aligns with your hopes and dreams. Just do not be deceptive. If what you desire benefits others, you will have the added support of the lunar nodes. 2 days later on the 21st, the Sun enters the sign of Capricorn and marks the winter solstice, where in the northern hemisphere we have more night than day. Capricorn energy loves to plan. It is ambitious while also being responsible. Taking methodical, organized action can help you achieve your goals and bring your manifestations to life. Energy is high and calculated. There is a focus on being dutiful and fulfilling your obligations. It is a great time to write down your successes of the year to help you see the path forward. Astrology chart for the new moon in Sagittarius on December 19, 2025 at 28 degrees Sagittarius. Generated with Luna Astrology software. New moon in Sagittarius on December 19, 2025 at 7:43 p.m. Central Standard Time in Dallas, Texas, USA. Monday, December 22nd through Sunday, December 28th to 24th brings us our next ingress with Venus entering the sign of Capricorn. With Venus in conjunction with the Sun, there is a propensity to purchase luxury items. Venus and Mars conjunctions are frisky in nature and tend to heighten sexual energy. This little stellium of Venus, the Sun, and Mars in Capricorn is all about making a commitment, especially with the square to Capricorn's ruler, Saturn. So what does this mean? Let's just say that I would not be surprised if there are little boxes with rings in them, since jewelers have seen an uptick in sales in October 2025. Even if a relationship you are in is not ready to take the next step, there is an air of seriousness, especially around action. Yes, this can mean bedroom activities, but it also means making plans. And if you are not in a relationship, this holiday season is great for meeting someone, especially if you are a Cancer or Capricorn rising, due to Venus, the Sun, and Mars transiting your first house of self or your seventh house of relationships. This is the energy of holiday rom-coms, so you just may be the star in your own romance story. The Pisces moon will be conjunct to the North Node on Christmas Day, and people could lean into compassion and universal love. There is a romantic idealism occurring with Venus square Neptune. If you are an artist, you may be inspired during this week due to the astrological transits. Let your muse be your guide. Write the poem, play the melody in your head, paint the picture, or do whatever it is you do to express yourself. The energy is dreamy and ethereal, while still grounded in the practicality of Capricorn. Honestly, it is a great mix of energy, and for many, this holiday could be filled with good vibes. One little caveat though. The Pisces moon eventually conjuncts Saturn on the 26th, so the high you are on during Christmas Eve and day could feel somber and anticlimactic. This is temporary energy that will pass on the 27th. What rises high must settle again, so allow yourself to ease back into your day-to-day routine. Monday, December 29th through Wednesday, December 31st. Can you believe 2025 is just about over? It has been a roller coaster of a year for many of us. At the end of 2024, we were dealing with Mars in Leo retrograde in opposition to Pluto in Aquarius. The future felt heavy. We knew there would be power struggles and that much of the world would be transforming, but we had no idea how or what would unfold. Looking back over the year, you may realize how much strength you have. You may have also recognized that what is occurring now is not sustainable, but that what existed before this year was not sustainable either. Throughout history we have known that the only constant in life is change. A quote attributed to the Greek philosopher Heraclitus. Yes, we are going through a big global shift, which unfortunately has some horrible consequences. How we move forward will depend on all of us. The good news is that here we are, at the end of the year, with a feeling of love and practicality. We are grounded but have not lost our emotions. On the last day of the month, the moon is in sociable Gemini, and this energy carries us into the new year. The Sun is sextile the Pisces North Node. This could be the little nudge we need to go out and make friends, be social, ignore the noise, and truly connect with people. Staying behind our keyboards or screens is not helping anyone. For those who are not in any jeopardy, I encourage you to go out and be part of your community. Talk, share ideas, and consider what actions we can all take to help our communities thrive. Walking into the final weeks of the year with clarity, connection, and heart, guided by the influence of Venus, the Sun, and Mars. Final thoughts on December 2025. This is a month of subtle shifts and an opportunity to reconnect with friends, relatives, and the people you care about. We move from the exhaustion of a heavy year to meaningful epiphanies. We roll up our sleeves, committed to doing the work it takes to move forward, just like the goat who sees green at the top of the mountain. The new moon is a perfect time to manifest and start your resolutions early. Stay grounded and stay heart-centered. I wish everyone a wonderful holiday season and a very happy new year. Life Tapestry Creations. Your freedom. Founding member dear ones, you likely feel frazzled and discombobulated. Such is so because your new being is showing itself in many different ways, including not always knowing what you will say or do. This is a week of discontent and joy. Not because you have done or said something wrong, but because you are feeling freedoms you have likely not yet accepted. Those closest to you are probably shocked, shamed, or angry at the words and actions that seem to spill naturally from your being. And even though you know you should apologize or redo the experience, you do not want to. You have become a maverick in both your actions and your words. You are blurting out words that may feel painful, even to you. But that feeling does not and cannot stop you from becoming who you wish to be. You have been play-acting for eons of Earth lives, fitting in and grasping for comfort by plying others with the right words and actions. So your new freedom to be you seems wrong, maybe even evil instead of just you being you. At first, you will apologize and perhaps beg for forgiveness. But if the actions and words of others do not comply with your interests and needs, you will discover an extreme disinterest in being part of their world. So you will begin sloughing off those who no longer enhance your being and search for those who do. This is a time of compatibility in so many ways. Interests, personalities, actions, and words. Perhaps a frightening time. Not because your words and actions do not feel true to the new you, but because they are so counter to who you thought you were. In a way, you will be battling yourself because new you is emerging, whether or not you like the being that you are becoming. Even though that last statement creates fear in most of you reading this message, it was not meant to. But if that fear continues despite your need to verbalize and act on your inner voice, it merely means you are not yet ready to be new you. You cannot become a new being if your primary concern is how you will fit in with others. You have come to another major crossroad. We of the universes have long discussed new indicators of you and self-love. But concerns that you might shift so dramatically that others will not like you indicate that you are not yet ready to completely abandon your 3D being. This is not bad or wrong. It is merely a timing issue that you will rectify when it is right for you. Allow yourself the time and energy to complete this aspect of your transition when it feels more important to you than not. If you continue to blame, shame, or isolate yourself because of your newfound independence from shoulds and have-tos, it is not yet time for you to transition to total freedom. You allow infants to crawl and move about in ways that are most productive for them. Now allow the same for yourself. There is so much universal energy pummeling you daily, as well as your inner need to expand your new you repertoire, that you might need time to rest before completely switching to new you. The only counterproductive aspect to your current development is holding back your new skill set so that others you care about can catch up. This is not a natural flow, but instead a return to 3D caretaking. You will never fully transition if you continue to caretake those who can take care of themselves, despite their cries to the contrary. Some of your relationships will not last through this current phase of personal freedom. Even though that might seem frightening now, hindsight will tell you that they were not dimensionally available to maintain your relationship with them. This is a self-care time. What do you need to feel comfortable and right? Not what does the world, your family and friends, employer, or government need. This is a new era, and you are one of the founding members. There is no written law or right action. There is only you discovering what makes you sing and laugh within. Something that others can no longer provide you to the same level. Their insistence that you be who is right for them ensures that you will not be right for yourself. This message is not an isolation dictate. It is merely a reminder that caretaking is no longer your interest or role. Your new role is the freedom to be. So tap down your need to be whatever others want and allow yourself to express in whatever way feels right when it is time for you to do so. You will know when that time arrives by the feelings emoted from your inner being. It could be tomorrow or next year, but it will happen whether or not it feels comfortable for you now. Just as you could not stop puberty or growing older, no matter how hard you tried to do so. So be it. Amen. Dawn of a new era. December 2025, dear friend. Happiest of holidays to you. As mentioned in the previous energy forecast, we are standing at one of the most pivotal turning points of our lifetime. We are completing a powerful 9-year era, and the choices we make now will be shaping the landscape of our personal and collective reality for years to come. So here we are with just a few weeks left in 2025, and wow, have things shifted since even a month ago. So much has come up to be seen, felt, and cleared. So much has reordered itself inside of us, even if the mind is still catching up with what the heart already knows. The final stretch these next few weeks leading up to the brand new 9-year cycle beginning January 1st, 2026 are an invitation to lovingly tie up any loose ends we are still choosing to carry. This is a sacred window in which to pause, take inventory, and decide what is best to take into the next chapter of our life. This is also an excellent time to reflect on which life lessons, people, places, experiences, and practices feel nourishing, alive, and aligned with who we are now. It is also the time to gently release what no longer fits the truth of our being, even if it once felt familiar or safe. Some of the patterns that move us away from our most authentic self include worry, guilt, fear, shame, judgment, lack, and doubt. One simple way to see what is asking to be released is to bring each of these patterns into your awareness, then notice how they feel in your body. Do any of them feel expansive, open, and life-giving? Or do they feel tight, heavy, and draining? The moment we recognize that we are not the energy of worry, guilt, fear, shame, judgment, lack, or doubt, and that these are learned patterns the mind has identified with, we create powerful space between who we really are and the pattern itself. In that space, the spell begins to break. An opening appears where we can begin to choose and embody new patterns that empower us and bring us back home to our true nature. Patterns like kindness, love, support, compassion, ease, grace, service, and gratitude naturally rise to the surface when we give them room to do so. In this final stretch of the current 9-year cycle, many of us will feel guided to complete what has been lingering in the background. Old projects, conversations, and relationships that feel unresolved are coming back into view. Not to punish us, but to be completed with as much love and clarity as possible. This clearing is not about loss. It's about creating space for the desires, visions, and prayers that are ready to manifest in the next era of our life. You may notice themes from these last 9 years, resurfacing for one last look. Rather than asking, "Why is this happening again?" it can be powerful to ask, "What part of me is ready to be free of this now?" When we meet these moments with compassion instead of self-judgment, the cycle can finally complete, and the energy that was tied up in old stories becomes available for new creations. On the global stage, we can see similar clearings taking place. Systems and structures that have operated in secrecy, separation, or without integrity are struggling to hold themselves together. Information that was once buried is now coming to light. Divine truth is no longer content to stay in the shadows. The pace of this revealing will continue to accelerate as we move into the new 9-year cycle. As this happens, empaths, visionaries, lightworkers, and heart-centered beings all over the world are being drawn together in stronger and more visible ways. Our voices, once scattered, are weaving into a unified field that cannot be ignored. This collective field will support the creation of new ways of living and organizing life that honor all of Earth's citizens, including humanity, Mother Earth, and the plant, mineral, celestial, and animal kingdoms. More and more people will experience an inner awakening that moves them out of victim and fear consciousness and into creator and love consciousness. Every awakening, no matter how quiet it appears from the outside, has a profound effect overall. Together, these awakenings form a wave that will bring about rapid and undeniable shifts in how we live, create, and care for one another. The impact of world events in recent years. Many of us have watched world events with a mixture of intensity, concern, and deep inner knowing. Political changes, social movements, financial shifts, environmental events, and rapid technological advances have all highlighted just how quickly reality can rearrange itself. On the surface, it can look chaotic or even bleak at times. Yet on a deeper level, something inside us knows that what is breaking down cannot carry us into the future we came here to help birth. The old ways resist change, but the light entering our hearts and minds is simply too strong and too steady now for change to be turned away. When a light is switched on in a dark room, the room does not become dark again just because we've seen what was hiding in the corners. In the same way, the amount of light that has already entered human consciousness is redefining life on this planet. Even the densest energies are being alchemized, sometimes through friction and contrast, but always with the deeper intent of awakening. The resistance, outrage, and division we see in the collective are not signs that we are failing. They are signs that big change is underway. The mind will often resist right before an expansion, because expansion asks the mind to loosen its grip on control and certainty. That resistance, personally and collectively, is confirmation that great shifts are not only coming. They are already in motion. Many of us have felt waves of grief for the world, alongside waves of profound love and possibility. Both are sacred. Allowing ourselves to feel what we feel, without collapsing into despair or spiritual bypassing, is one of the bravest things we can do right now. Our grounded presence is one of the greatest gifts we can bring to this time. The new horizon on the surface, people have reacted very differently to the changes of the last 9 years. Some have celebrated them, others have mourned them, and many have cycled between hope and uncertainty. It can look as if we are simply reacting to the specific events themselves. Yet beneath the surface, our souls recognize that the world will never go back to what it was. A deeper intelligence within us knows we did not incarnate to replay the past. We came to help usher in a new template of living that honors the truth of who we really are. Change can feel intimidating to the mind, because it exposes that the mind is not actually in control. Many of the outcomes we assumed were certain have turned out to be anything but. While that can feel destabilizing, it is also making room for solutions, ideas, and pathways not previously available under the old agreements. Those of us on a path of personal and spiritual growth know that our biggest breakthroughs often arrive after our biggest breakdowns. The structures that crumble in our lives and in our world create space for more authentic foundations to emerge. That is where we are as a collective. We are in the in-between, where the old is dissolving, and the new is still taking form. In this space, our daily choices matter more than ever. Every time we choose presence over reactivity, compassion over blame, creativity over resignation, we are voting with our energy for the kind of world we want to live in. We are seeding the new horizon with the frequency of the reality we know is possible. Navigation tools to support ourselves through this powerful window. It's important that we make our well-being a priority. The more resourced we are inwardly, the more clearly we can hear our inner guidance and show up as a stabilizing presence for others. Here are a few simple, grounded ways to support yourself right now. Give yourself daily moments of self-care and self-love, even if they are brief. Let your body, mind, and heart feel that you are on their side. Limit your exposure to any news and media that keep your nervous system in a constant state of alarm. Stay informed in ways that feel respectful to your energy, then return to what nourishes you. Spend time in nature as often as you can. Let the sky, trees, water, and earth remind you of a rhythm that is deeper than any headline. Hydrate well and nourish your body with foods that feel clean, alive, and supportive. Small choices add up to a greater sense of clarity and vitality. Welcome your emotions instead of suppressing them. Let yourself cry, laugh, dance, or rest as needed. Emotions are energy in motion, and they flow more easily when we honor them. Offer your time, presence, or resources to a person, cause, or community that feels aligned with your heart. Being of service in authentic ways can be profoundly healing. Intentionally spread kindness and love wherever you go, including toward yourself. A gentle word, a sincere smile, or a patient response carries real power. Give yourself a daily practice that calms and centers you. This could be meditation, prayer, mindful breathing, gentle movement, or a good, honest belly laugh. Express your creativity through music, art, movement, writing, cooking, or any other outlet that feels joyful. Creativity opens the channel for new solutions and new energy to flow. Remember that beyond the roles, opinions, and identities, we are one human family. Even when the mind wants to divide, the heart remembers our shared essence. Setting our intentions for the next 9-year cycle these next few weeks are a sacred invitation to become very clear about the reality we're choosing to create as we enter the next 9 years. Rather than approaching this from habits of pressure or perfectionism, we can approach it from curiosity, playfulness, and deep self-respect. You might feel inspired to write your intentions by hand, create a vision board, create a small ritual at home, or gather with a few friends to speak your visions aloud. You may simply choose a feeling tone you want to live for more consistently, such as peace, freedom, intimacy, creativity, or abundance, and let that feeling guide your choices. There is no right or wrong way to do this. What matters most is the sincerity of your intention. As you set your intentions, it can be powerful to acknowledge how far you have already come over the last 9 years. Think of all the inner work, healing, courage, and growth it took to bring you to this moment. Let yourself feel proud of the person you have become. Gratitude for who you are now amplifies what you are calling in next. You might also invite your I Am presence, your higher self, and the divine as you understand it, to co-create this next chapter with you. Rather than trying to figure everything out with the mind, you can simply say from your heart, I am willing to align with the highest, most loving outcomes for my life and for this planet. Show me the next step. Then stay open to the gentle nudges, synchronicity, and inner knowings that follow. Rest is also part of this creation process. We do not have to drag old exhaustion into a new cycle. Giving ourselves permission to rest, unplug, and soften is not laziness. It is deep trust. It signals to life that we are ready to receive in new ways, not just through effort and pushing, but through alignment and openness. I will be sharing more about this new cycle in the January 2026 energy forecast and in our upcoming gatherings together. For now, know that every loving intention you set, every pattern you release, and every act of kindness you offer is already shaping the path before you. In closing, thank you for being you. Your presence on this planet at this time is not an accident. It is a profound gift. Because you have been willing to feel, to heal, to question old stories, and to show up for your inner work, so much is changing in ways we can see, and in vital ways we may never fully see. Your light is part of why new possibilities are opening for all of us. For this and for so much more, a heartfelt thank you. Until next time, with gratitude, Emmanuel, the Galactic Federation. You are being propelled hundreds of years into the future. Blessings to our dear Earth family. We thank you for connecting with us. In our last communication, we dove into the critical role that the genuine white hats are playing in the ongoing struggle for transparency and justice. These courageous individuals are stepping up to initiate the profound changes needed in your world by courageously exposing the hidden agendas that have long manipulated your reality. They are shedding light on suppressed technologies that could revolutionize your understanding of energy, health, and the environment. Moreover, they are revealing the truth about non-human intelligence and significant scientific discoveries that have been purposefully concealed from humanity throughout many generations. These brave beings are fully aware of the immense challenges they face, particularly because the current governments are deeply resistant to the emergence of this vital information. The risks they are taking are immense, as they put their lives on the line to come forward during these pivotal times. However, it is important to understand that the truth is surfacing very quickly, and you are approaching a moment of full disclosure. Nothing is going to stop this momentum. Those who believe they possess power over the human race are actively attempting to hinder the dissemination of this crucial information. The major corporations and medical industries stand to lose significant profits once this information becomes public knowledge. The individuals you refer to as elites have received great wealth over many generations, and they utilize this wealth to maintain control over the masses. Every bit of money you spend ultimately funnels back into the pockets of this cabal. These families are not just wealthy. They are of ancient bloodlines, intricately connected through lineage to the Anunnaki and reptilian species. In their pursuit of power, many hybrids have been created to serve the interests of these families, acting as agents of their will. Furthermore, there are the loyal servants of these families, individuals who have received their wealth and fame by literally signing their souls over to these otherworldly beings. It is important to note that you are on the verge of witnessing many individuals from these elite families being held accountable for the crimes they have committed against humanity. All the deception and suffering you have experienced as a race can be traced back to these beings who mistakenly believe they are superior to you. They view you not as fellow beings but as their property, mere slaves and a food source for their dark overlords. However, it is crucial to understand that their masters have abandoned them, leaving these elites to face the consequences of their actions. Even if they were merely executing the orders of their Anunnaki and reptilian lords, the time for accountability has come, and in the very near future, everything that has been hidden from you will be brought to light. All the groundbreaking technologies, medical breakthroughs, the methods for environmental restoration and free energy will be made available, allowing humanity to thrive as a collective race. This transition is not about regressing to primitive times. Rather, it is about propelling you hundreds of years into the future, where possibilities are limitless. The major corporations that have actively suppressed this information will also face accountability for their actions. These corporations have been primary enablers of wealth for the elite families, and their efforts to halt the progression of your race will no longer be tolerated. Prepare yourselves, for so much is about to change rapidly in your reality. Many of you are already equipped and ready for the transformations that lie ahead. You have been holding your light high for all to see, serving as beacons of love and truth. As you continue to shine brightly, you will find that your fellow humans are beginning to meet you in this newfound awareness. Together, you will forge a path toward a brighter, more equitable future for all of humanity. We love you, and celebrate your light within. We are the Galactic Federation. James Gilliland, Transcendence, A Quantum Leap in Evolution, A Guide to Universal Peace, Brother/Sisterly Love, Individual Freedom and Prosperity for All. What is God? It is best to begin at the beginning. It is said that mankind is created in the same image and likeness of God. On earth, man created God in his images based on historical experiences and the misinterpretations of mostly men using their reference points, symbols and understandings of the time. Interactions with little g gods going back millions of years. The pantheons of lesser gods that once ruled the earth. Before moving forward, we have to observe this information with the Buddha mind or fresh mind. Unattached and open-minded, otherwise you will get caught up in a false historical trap of misunderstandings and misinterpretations. We cannot capsulize the omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent God in words, in a book, or in the intellect. That is why it is written, ye search the scriptures in vain, for I speak of a living God. All we can do is attempt to give the most unlimited definition we can with no divisions according to our own understanding and limitations. There is always more, a more expanded understanding waiting to unfold. God is the one consciousness that encompasses all consciousness on all planes and dimensions throughout the multiverse. It is the unified field in which all that is sprang forth, the ongoing process of creation, preservation and destruction. Many flinch at the word destruction because they identify with the temporary, in most cases, body and personality. In truth, we are eternal souls going through a process of death and rebirth within the unified field, choosing timelines and dimensions upon which to express. We are vast cosmic travelers trapped into thinking we are a body and a personality. In God's most unlimited expression, it is pure unconditional love, joy and bliss. It is the spark waiting to be ignited into the full flame within everyone. It doesn't have an ego to judge, it is beyond judgment expressed in the words, "Neither do I judge thee nor does my Father judge thee, go and sin no more." Referring to an all-loving, all-forgiving God beyond judgment. What is being expressed is we judge ourselves. Karma is recorded in our own souls as wounds, traumas and wrong conclusions from past experiences. The unforgiven. We have to forgive ourselves, gain wisdom from the experience, releasing the emotional charge. Allow the experiences to settle in the soul as wisdom. Not doing so only creates repeat performances. Forgiveness is automatic because the all-loving, all-forgiving God does not have an ego. We live in an action/reaction world, the plane of demonstration where consciousness creates reality. We magnetize people and events to us according to our consciousness, our actions and beliefs in the world in which we live. The path to enlightenment and ascension is the path of personal responsibility. Personal discipline. The path of being a victim is another path, a dark road ending in more victimization, a misuse of free will. The way off that path is forgiveness. Forgive yourself for creating the event, others for participating. Ignite the spark through prayer and meditation. Focus on and create the world in which you want to live, releasing the past. Redirect your mind, heart and soul, bringing everything into alignment with the all-loving, all-forgiving God within. That is when the miracles happen. Freedom begins with loving yourself enough to set boundaries, not from a wounded ego. The real power is beyond the ego. Connecting to the loving, joyous, blissful God/goddess within. The enlightened masters of the world all say God is within, internal. Most religions in error focus on an external God acting as go-betweens. Some seek power over others, some material gain, few empowering the individual to make their own personal connection. Perpetuating images and worshipping external gods is a disservice, disempowering and a distraction from making one's own personal God connection. Again, the external images of God were due to historical interactions in the past with the lesser gods. Some were spiritually advanced, some were mentally and scientifically advanced yet spiritually backwards. That is why you have so many contradictions as to the nature of God. Focus on the love, joy and bliss within, preferably in nature until you become it. Live according to universal law, universal peace, brother/sisterly love, individual freedom and prosperity for all. Hold your leadership accountable to the same principles. That is the path to planetary awakening and healing. The path to transcendence. It is also necessary to join our galactic family, the greater family of man/woman throughout the multidimensional galaxy. Enlightened masters often say the reason there are so few enlightened ones is because it is so simple. Get out in nature, focus on love, joy and bliss until you become it. Lose the complexity of your mind and gain your soul. Bring all aspects of self into alignment with the God within. Many require more understanding of the historical misunderstandings of God. Knowing the true history of Earth helps one to understand how things went astray. There were advanced off-world visitors coming and going on Earth for over 600 million years. There are glass-lined tunnels dated back from 300 million to 600 million years old. There are pyramids beneath the pyramids and other megalithic structures. Almost everything on Earth is much older than believed. Always remember there is a lie in BLIVE. Remember that as we go forward your history is riddled with lies. History as recorded by the victors alter due to the motives of the ones overseeing the recording. The Earth is much older. Carbon dating is off due to times when there was a very thick cloud cover that covered the Earth. It was a constant 74 degrees. There was no ice. Due to the carnivores, snakes and insects of the time, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions and tsunamis of a young planet, the surface was a very dangerous place. The first colonial outposts from the stars were underground with limited interactions on the surface, much of which was swamp. There was no moon, no tides, and the terraformers were not present yet. Your history has a time when there was no moon, 2 moons, then back to 1. The moons were terraforming platforms for advanced races some billions of years old. There was a human evolving naturally on Earth as on all planets that can support life. We did not descend from apes. Our DNA is older than Earth. We are the byproduct of genetic tinkering of a human developing naturally and advanced visitors from the stars. Native Americans refer to those who came from the heavens as the Star Nations. The first colonies were the ancient Lyrans known as the Anunnaki. Those who, from heaven, came to Earth. They are the most ancient ancestors we know of. They were a highly evolved spacefaring race. The average height was 24 feet tall. They built temples in stone, had a hierarchical system, and were very advanced in genetic engineering. They were the creators of many of the half-animal, half-man myths which actually existed. Many could not reproduce or were hunted into extinction, as were the giants. They had a flaw in their civilization in which they always rose to great heights, divided, got into power struggles, and used weapons beyond imagination on each other. There were other races on the Earth, humanoid felines, reptilians, and a host of others now buried under the ice due to pole shifts. The humanoid felines were known as the protectors of the gods. They operated from a very high level of integrity. When the Anunnaki fell from universal law and got into power struggles, they left, returning to Lyra and Sirius. The feline races were referred to as Narshringa, Narisha, or Sekhmet in Indian and Egyptian lore. The peaceful Lyrans who held to universal law left before the fall, and continued to evolve some up to the 6th dimension. One of their outposts was Nibiru. It has a red sun and is in a very wide elliptical orbit around our sun. Almost all solar systems have binary suns. Their first colonies were in Australia. Their ancient gold mines exist to this day. From there they moved to Africa. They set up dynasties ending with half-Lyran, half-human pharaohs and kings. The Lyrans were very tall and had elongated skulls. Their half-human offspring as well to one degree or another. It represented royalty, thus was born the practice of cradleboarding. Those with the elongated skulls were considered royalty. The gold from the breastplates of the pharaohs originated in Australia. The history of the Anunnaki's presence on Earth is held with the Aboriginals. It is also written in stone in sacred sites. Gosford. Glyphs is 1. It shows star glyphs showing the landing of their craft, adding their DNA to the Denisovan man to create workers to mine the gold. There are also hieroglyphs of a story where 2 brothers, sons of a pharaoh from Egypt, went to Australia to reclaim the lost knowledge after the fall, written on special stones. They were told not to take the knowledge by the elders. They refused to listen. One was bitten by a poisonous snake, the other went down with the ship due to a massive storm. It is all written in stone. The second attempt to colonize Earth was from the Pleiades. The problem the ancient Lyrans had, evolving to a very high level of science, separating and getting into power struggles, also unfolded on ancient Lyra. They almost blew up their entire planet in one such war. The peaceful Lyrans left and started colonies in the Orion and Pleiades systems. The Orion system was a very hostile system with reptilians, greys, a few other races that did not live according to universal law, some in total opposition. There are many references to the wars of Orion that spilled over to Earth, now in the process of being cleaned up. The Pleiadians were the second recorded colonies coming to Earth. They created the colonies of Atlantis and Lemuria. They are honored by indigenous people around the world. Native Americans, Hawaiians, Philippine, Tibetan, African elders from around the world point to the Pleiades as their origins. As their ancestors, they rose to great heights, divided and fell from universal law. The Atlanteans' technology superseded their spirituality, and they used it to dominate, control, and destroy the Lemurians. The Lemurians were a constant reminder of their fall from grace, so they saw them as a threat to their empire. They sent their ships with their beam weapons to destroy Lemuria. They melted their cities down, becoming the green glass underneath the Gobi Desert. The Lemurians, who were also spacefaring, responded by guiding a meteor to hit Atlantis, creating what you now call the Atlantic Ocean. There were other star nations attracted to Atlantis and Lemuria, making them their home. They got caught up in the Great Wars as well. The Atlanteans also used their lasers to take out the remaining dinosaurs. This cracked the Earth in some places and dropped the firmament, the thick cloud cover, causing one of the great floods. A pole shift later removed most of the survivors. Many went into the interior inner Earth to survive and live there to this day. Thus the legends of inner Earth. They joined other civilizations, some less dense physically, continuing to evolve alongside the elven, fairy, and other kingdoms existing there to this day. There is much more to the story. We're just telling you this so you can remember, recognize the patterns that ended previous civilizations. Also educate the masses as to their multidimensional selves and the multidimensional universe in which they live filled with life. There are primitive planets evolving throughout the multiverse and planets with civilizations billions of years old flying by Earth on regular occasions to check in on the status of our evolution. Most keep to themselves because of our aggressive, competitive nature, the lack of unity, morally and integrity challenged leaders, governments and institutions. Those perpetuating false narratives to control the masses. 3i Atlas is just one of many of these events. They scan the Earth. All institutions, governments, religious, agencies, military assets, our infrastructure, and came to the conclusion that as a planet we are not ready to join a galactic federation. What does that tell you about who is in charge of contact? There was contact with governments in 1945 and agreements made. A choice was made between spiritually technologically advanced beings, the Nordics or Pleiadians, our ancient ancestors. The other group was with the Orion Alliance, a malevolent consortium of reptilians, greys and other degenerate races that operate outside of universal law. There were stipulations. The Nordics said we had to get rid of nuclear weapons, they affect the fabric of space. The Orion malevolent group said if you let us experiment on your people we will give you the technology. Choosing to side with the degenerate races, without the consent of the people led to worldwide abductions, experimentations, torture and death, perpetuating war, disease and poverty, yet the war and disease profiteers at the time got their weapons. We are at another crossroads and the offer has been made again. Choose universal law which will put an end to war, disease and poverty, create a quantum leap in evolution, or take the downward spiral allowing the global elite's perpetuation of war, disease and poverty. Creating a downward spiral in evolution ending in total societal and environmental collapse. The same patterns that led to the demise of previous civilizations. Your DNA is a combination of DNA from the stars combined with humans evolving naturally along with stranded star nations adding to the gene pool. The ancient memories are stored in your DNA as cellular memory, along with the soul memory, a vast collection of experience both on Earth and off-world. Did you know DNA is always communicating? Little antennas connected to the stars. When you are quiet and listen within you can feel it, hear messages from the stars. The reason for bringing this knowledge forward is to put an end to the external jealous wrathful God image used to promote fear, guilt and unworthiness, separating humanity from God and dividing the masses. Opening the door to the internal God within, the all-loving all-forgiving God. End division and bring unity to the masses. We all were created by the same Creator. We are all family. We were divided throughout history by kings and religions, the ruling elite that perpetuated false images, divisions and understandings. We are all children of God. One big family. A German mystic once said, if nut seeds produce nut trees, fruit seeds produce fruit trees. What do God seeds produce? Becoming one with God, igniting the spark into the full flame in expanded states of awareness through prayer and meditation has always been the path of the masters, saints and sages. Your soul is connected to God. It rests in an electrical chamber next to the heart. It is through the soul that one expands throughout the vibrational continuum and merges with God, Creator, Great Spirit. This information is not the end-all or cover everything, it is just showing those who seek the truth where to look. The extremely advanced off-worlders on 3i Atlas delivered two powerful messages. 1. We are not and never have been alone in the multiverse. 2. We have to rise to the occasion, live according to universal law. Until then we are not ready. What better way to start a movement towards transcendence? According to them, transcendence is the only way out. The only way to make contact. Transcendence is not for everyone, nor is everyone ready for contact. I do, however, know there is a plan. The ships are here in every size, shape and color, some from other dimensions. There are fleets. They will continue to make themselves known. It will be undeniable. Disclosure will come from the skies, not from governments, religions, or the controlled narrative governing ufology. One day they will all uncloak. It will look as though they are jockeying for parking space. The skies will light up, night will become day. They will add their consciousness and energy to the collective. These days of denial and deceit will come to a close. Humanity will once again stand in knowledge of its own divinity, transcending war, disease, poverty, and the enslavement of the tyrants. The sacred senses of telepathy, direct knowing, clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaudience are all being activated. The more you engage them, the more you pray and meditate, the stronger they become. The veils between worlds are getting thinner. With the expanded awareness comes personal responsibility to keep yourself clear, heal any unseen negative energies and maintain sacred space. Become an active participant in the Great Awakening. It is closer than you think. Healing negative influences, creating sacred space, and healing any unseen negative influences is first and foremost if you desire to ascend. It is said on the path to Nirvana, Christ or Buddha consciousness, the demons will rear their ugly heads. They will work through unconsciousness, friends, family, lovers influencing them to distract you on your path to enlightenment. We must transcend the need for love, acceptance and approval externally and find it from within, our own personal God, Creator, Great Spirit connection maintained through prayer, meditation, and clearing unseen negative influences. Always remember there are very few who can see your divinity, who you really are. Most cannot see past their own projections and belief systems. It is also best to use universal law as a tool for discernment. Universal peace, brother/sisterly love, individual freedom and prosperity for all. Even better, hold your leaders to it. Social consciousness does not support divine Christ consciousness. Having expectations of external support is where many miss the mark. You all have your own unique soul purpose. Anyone who is not empowering you to make your own personal connection to God, Creator, Great Spirit is creating a distraction, a division from the omnipresent God within. External worship, giving our power away to others, is how things went astray in the past. Be it a king, government or religious institution, in most cases in service to self rather than in service to others. This will all be revealed in the days to come. Here are the tools to clear unseen negative influences. 1. I call on the beautiful many enlightened masters, saints and sages. You can insert Jesus, the House of Mary, Kuan Yin, Baba Ji, the archangels. Just be sure who you call on comes. In the name of the Christ, from Christ or Buddha consciousness. 2. We welcome all in love and light, those in need of healing. You are healed and forgiven, lifted and enlightened. Repeat this line as many times as you feel necessary. 3. You are filled with the Christ light and the Christ love. We ask the beautiful many to take you to your perfect place. If you have a persistent negative entity, you can ask them if they come in the name of the Christ, then have Jesus, Yeshua ben Joseph is his real name, or the archangels to take them to their perfect place. There can be multiple entities to clear. In some cases, people in ignorance allow them in. If they resist, you have to persist. Keep clearing until the energy feels clear. Some people use salt around the perimeter, burn sage or Palo Santo. Doing this along with healing prayer is an added benefit. Intent is 9/10 of the law. You can adjust this prayer to what works for you. I have seen people totally butcher the prayer and it still worked. These healing techniques, world healing meditations, are all on the website www.iseti.org for more understanding. We have a saying, if you don't like what you are feeling, do a healing. Clear your family, friends, home and business. You cannot create enough sacred space. Do not worry about trespassing. Any unseen negative influences are already trespassing, and people can always refuse the healing. Always be sure the motive is not manipulating. The mind in which you seek is the mind in which you connect. Help us get the message out and keep the Asceti Stargate shows and centers going. Any donations are greatly appreciated. Imagine if enough people did clearings on a regular basis and initiated help from on high, cleaning up these dark realms and entities. Permission given to share this far and wide. Godspeed, James Gilliland, St. Germain. Changemakers, this one is for you. I am St. Germain, keeper of the violet flame. You are all working towards something big, something that involves all 8 billion of you. And that is quite an endeavor, quite an undertaking. You all came into this lifetime knowing that something big was going to happen, and you also knew that you wanted to be a part of it. You knew that the timing was perfect for an up-leveling of the consciousness of humanity, and you wanted to experience that firsthand, viscerally and in the physical realm. That is why you have made yourselves available as the vessels that you are for higher frequency energies. Many of you say that you don't know what you are supposed to do with yourselves and with your lives. You will receive inspiration for what to do next after you sit and open up your crown and ask for the energies to flow to you and through you that are most needed by humanity. Be the anchors of that higher frequency energy that you were created to be, that you were born to be and that you intended to be. Remember that this is a huge endeavor and it requires a lot of energy, a lot of ideas and at times actions. You will take those actions that are necessary when you are inspired to do so. Don't worry about not knowing at this moment what those actions are. Don't worry about not knowing what the purpose of your life is, because it is a much longer life in this lifetime than in many of the previous lifetimes that you've had on Earth. Allow yourselves to step into the unknown as the vessels of high frequency energy that you are, and you will get the inspired ideas. They will come in at the appropriate time so that you can act upon them. When you don't know what to do, or how to bring about the changes that you know you want to see there on Earth, remember that you always have the option of just enjoying the physical reality as it is right now. Even though there will be a lot of changes and those changes will be for the better, you do still have a reality that has plenty in it for you to discover, to enjoy, to appreciate, to partake in. You don't ever have to just wait around for the spaceships to come or for the systems that are in place to collapse. You can enjoy your physical Earth reality right now, and know that your joy is also productive. It is putting you in a higher vibrational state. It is making you more open and conscious of what it is that is available to you to receive. You are inspiring others with your joyous state of being and with your joyous actions. You do help others just by pursuing your joy. Take yourselves into that space of receptivity, of the divine feminine, so that you can receive the energies that will inspire you to the joyous action or simply to be in a state of appreciation. You can also receive high-frequency energies for the sake of receiving high-frequency energies, and you don't have to think about what it will lead to. The experience itself is life-affirming, energizing, and will put you in a blissful state. And isn't that what you want? Isn't that why you pursue the things that you pursue in life, to get you into a state of being that you enjoy and that you prefer? Let yourselves go there now and don't wait for the changes to happen outside of you. You are the change and you are the changemakers, and every breath that you take there on Earth is of service and is changing everything. I am Saint Germain, keeper of the violet flame. Sivananda. Yoga is a message of love. I live. I am alive. But not on Earth in a physical body. But I have a body, and I love to move, I love to make my moves, and I love to meditate and contemplate over the great issues of life. From where I am, I understand more, I have learned more about life on Earth, but nothing could teach me more than the actual living, breathing life I lived once. Well, I breathe now too, of course. But you understand how I mean? Being in a body, living on Earth, is the greatest school of all. It is truly an university of life and love. How do I mean? Love is the most precious energy there is. It is common on many places in the universe, but not on Earth. Love really is forever, and it is about how much you embrace it, how you welcome it. For it is already there, with you. Love is for everyone and everybody. Love is blind. Love does not judge you. But you judge yourself? You should also love yourself, but do you? To welcome love into your life, open your arms, and expect the loving unexpected. It is a mode you have to embrace, a state of being. So love will really find you, and not bounce off you. Well, love is there with you anyway, always, but it is easier to explain it so. Even if you carry anger, sadness, fear, love always loves you, and heals you as much as it possibly can. But, if you do not resist love, by not loving yourself, you open the gates for love to flow in and make you complete. You are already love. You are made of love. The creators that created what later was the Big Bang, they each personified all the energies as love, hope, faith, harmony, music, rhythm, and man more. And the result of this love-making and holy creation is Earth and this part of the galaxy. But the life on Earth can be horrendous for many. And it is really hard for you too many times. How can you appreciate love if you just get it for free all the time? If love is just there, in maximum all the time, you would not notice it? Love is a so very precious commodity that you really cherish it like the most precious gemstone. Love are so many things. Friendship, gratitude, humility, brotherhood, sisterhood, family, beautiful Earth, and much more. Yoga are messages to the etherical element. All the different movements are symbols of love. When you do a yoga position, it is a message from you to the universe. And I love to follow you when you do your yoga. Doing yoga is the flow of love and the loving energy of life expressed by your soul and body, and it is very beautiful to witness. It is all about the body language and making your body aware of the heartbeat of Earth, your mother. The one that holds the pen in this channeling, Kerstin, is my pupil, and I have taught her new yoga, and many goddesses gives her important input as well. I can teach you too if you like. Just let me know. I love you, Sivananda source. Aeroflight.com. The other videos are in the English video playlist. Help me spread the light. Click like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.